there has been a significant development, a very big one, and those pictures tell you the story. We've put a lander on the moon, we've made some of the biggest space rockets on Earth, we've fired ballistic missiles, scrapped together to make our own aircraft carrier and even jet fighters, and we've even got a nuclear weapon or two. India has many unbelievable technological firsts to its name that have transformed the world, beginning with the invention of the zero and the decimal. But yet, viewers, we didn't have our own Boeing or Airbus, a private sector firm with a final assembly line. Today, even that gap has been filled with the historic inauguration of India's first aircraft assembly line in the private sector. Those are the pictures, and those are the pictures coming to you from Gujarat, viewers. This assembly line will see the rollout of 40 medium-lift C-295 aircraft, which will replace the Indian Air Force's Avro fleet in just 2 years from now. The first of those planes will roll out in 2 years from now, and before the decade is done, viewers, all the planes will roll off that assembly line and join the Air Force fleet. The plant has come up after a deal was inked by a Tata Group company and Airbus Defence and Space. The ribbon was cut by the Prime Minister in the company of his Spanish counterpart, where the aircraft is made exclusively till now. And you can see those pictures, lot of pomp, pageantry, the Prime Minister walking his counterpart, his Spanish counterpart, through that factory. You can already see a disassembled body of a plane there. In the middle, a completely decked out, equipped plane right there in the middle of your screens. The first in quite a few number that has been delivered to us. The production of this craft is being hailed as a game changer, and rightly so. Let me give you some quick insights. The flight endurance of up to 11 hours. So this can fly 11 hours, all-weather multi-role operation capability. So it can ferry up to 71 troops or 50 paratroopers. It's capable of logistical ops to inaccessible locations. So even in disaster management or evacuating troops out of some very, very tough terrain or theaters of war, all can be done, even civilians. The rear ramp for para-dropping of troops and cargo. This is really a wondrous aircraft, and we are being told that upgradations will be made to it in India when it is being manufactured. So the technology will be upgraded. It will lead to the generation of thousands of jobs, not in situ, but also beyond, because there will be people who will be producing ancillary parts for this plane. And of course, there will be a whole host of other services that will come up in and around this plant. The Prime Minister was naturally thrilled as he sees the endeavour as a major vindication of his determination to make in India for the world. And listen to him.
भारत में डिफेंस मैन्युफैक्चरिंग इकोसिस्टम नई ऊंचाइयां छू रहा है। तब तो कोई ये कल्पना भी नहीं कर पाता था कि भारत में इतने बड़े पैमाने पर डिफेंस मैन्युफैक्चरिंग हो सकती है। बीते दशक में देश ने ऐसे अनेक फैसले लिए जिससे भारत में एक वाइब्रेंट डिफेंस इंडस्ट्री का विकास हुआ। हमने डिफेंस मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में प्राइवेट सेक्टर की भागीदारी को विस्तार दिया, डीआरडीओ और एचएएल को सशक्त किया। यूपी और तमिलनाडु में 2 बड़े डिफेंस कॉरिडोर बनाए। ऐसे अनेक निर्णयों ने डिफेंस सेक्टर को नई ऊर्जा से भर दिया।
Well, the Prime Minister deliberately stressed, viewers, on a laundry list of achievements under the Make in India. Why? Because for very long the opposition had mocked his Make in India dream. October 14th, 2024, Jairam Ramesh, which is today, said a few days back, Make in India has simply become fake in India. Fake in India. April 12, 2019, Rahul Gandhi, Prime Minister Modi, gave you an empty slogan called Make in India, but we only see made in China products unquote. These are his words. February 9th, 2017, P. Chidambaram. How will indigenous digital and cardless tech work in rural India? What will the poor do, he said. Today, viewers, rural India digitization has become a case study for the rest of the globe. People are actually asking us for the technology. Even America. While it hasn't always been smooth sailing, the criticism is vastly exaggerated, and the hard facts will once again show you why. Make in India has registered some impressive milestones, and these hard facts, viewers, indisputable, will again help you separate the wheat from the hyperbole. COVID-19 vaccinations, September 25, 2014, India achieved rapid COVID-19 vaccination coverage, became a major vaccine exporter, supplying nearly 60% of the world's vaccines. Vande Bharat trains, India's first indigenous semi-high-speed trains with 102 service operational, showcasing advances in rail technology and modern passenger experience. The launch of INS Vikrant, India's first domestically made aircraft carrier, highlights a shift towards self-reliance in defense. Total output of defense production reaches 1.27 lakh crores and exports to over 90 countries. Defense exports, talking about those, show a tenfold jump from 1941 crores in 2014-2015 to rupees 21,083 crores in 2023-2024. Global defense recognition. Made in Bihar boots are now part of the Russian army's equipment used in Ukraine. Electronic growth. The electronics sector grew to US dollars 155 billion in FY23, nearly doubling production since FY17. India's second largest mobile manufacturer, producing 99% domestically. Merchandise export. India recorded $437.06 billion in merchandise exports in FY 2023-24, reflecting its growing role in global trade. Bicycle exports, viewers, you name it. Toys, willow bats for Kashmir, from Kashmir, Amul's global presence, all of this, viewers, is happening. Toy production. India produces 400 million toys annually, with 10 new toys created every second. The impact of indigenized production is also having an impact on India's economy. India is now the first among the world's most attractive investment destinations, first among the world's fastest growing economies, first among 100 countries on the Growth, Innovation and Leadership Index, first among 110 investment destinations polled globally, 7th most valued national brand in the world. India's rank jumped 12 positions in the Ease of Doing Business 2016 list by World Bank. India's moved 16 places in the Global Competitiveness Index 2015-2016. India jumps 42 spots in 9 years, ranks 39th in Global Innovation Index in 2024. It's happening here, viewers. Make in India is actually happening. Let's open this up, because there are still some people who don't believe so. Let's ask them why they don't believe so. But first, Air Chief Marshal, retired RKS Vadodra, joins us. And I want to ask you, Air Chief, and this is an important question, because many people want to understand, why is this a game changer and how does this impact the move towards Atmanirbharta in militarization? Can you explain?
I think it's a game changer because it is the very first contract directly with the private sector. So it is the first military aircraft contract, and it's a huge step. You know, so far it's been all largely built to print, and thereafter D&D, DRDO and DPSU's involvement with bit of private sector outsourcing. But this is the first time Tata's as private sector along with Airbus has set up this. So it's a game changer in that respect. If we have to become a aerospace power, and if we have to change our aerospace aviation industry, which is very complex, and we have to really bring in efficiencies, reduce cost, bring in high-tech technologies, do our own R&D and D&D, then this base has to be set up, and the private sector involvement, MSMEs, startups, has to really increase multifold. So from that aspect, I think it's a game changer. For the first time, transport aircraft production has been set up in the country, that too in private sector, therefore game changer. So far it was only fighters, trainers and helicopters. It's game changer because, once the kind of technologies and the new job creation happens, the kind of skilling that happens which is very high tech or very high level in the aviation world, it will make the base in our industry which will really be the stepping stone for all our subsequent D&D efforts, R&D efforts.
Right.
Maybe upgrade of the same as far as Tatas are concerned, but as an industry, the technologies and capability that will bring, our D&D and R&D will start to really increase. Our abilities in those fields will increase. Therefore, in the coming years, in the next 2 decades, you will see the impact of this. And similar such programs, more such programs need to happen, and that's why it's a game changer.
So, Chief, just elaborate on that point. Assembly line evolves an ecosystem for Make in India. That's what we are told. How?
Ecosystem, if you see the current situation, it is largely DRDO and DPSU based production with outsourced involvement of private sector, MSMEs. The level of involvement is rather low. If we have to really become, change this aviation industry, the tier 2, tier 3 development, that ecosystem needs to develop. The MSME's involvement needs to come up. The R&D and D&D effort needs to really rise. The startups, the technologies that they develop, there must be a very easy, simple, flexible, rapid way of its absorption and incursion into such programs. So from that angle, the production facilities that this program will bring, once it's final assembly, sub-assemblies are being set up. So if you look at detailed parts, for example, if there are about 15,000, about 13,000 detailed parts are going to be manufactured in India at the Hyderabad facilities. They are sub-assembly production.
Wow.
So it's not only an overall integration factory that's being set up. Down below, there is a chain of supply chain which will get set up, which will cater for sub-assemblies, many detailed parts, many accessories. So that production itself will, generate efficiency and capability in ecosystem, which will across the, technological fields aid in our other programs subsequently. Finally, our industry needs to grow in capability, technology, and overall abilities to do such projects.
Okay.
And that is why that is what will change with this program.
Well, thank you, Chief, for putting it into perspective for us. Let's open this up. Let me bring in Professor Santosh Mehrotra. Professor Mehrotra, this is Jairam Ramesh from a few days ago. Make in India has simply become fake in India. Do you go along with this statement?
Well, first of all, let me congratulate ACM, Vadodra, and the Indian Defence Forces that they are acquiring some capacity in assembling certain parts of this aircraft in India. So very good. There's no question about it that this is good news, and that the private sector is growing into a sector in which we have not seen too much activity, despite all the quote-unquote achievements that you rattled off, and I could undermine all of those in a second, but I'm sure you will not give me the time. I know from experience that you will not give me the time. So let me just give a certain sense of balance to what we have heard very respectfully to ACM Vadodra. Let's just remind ourselves that long before this government came to power, Tata Group, Mahindra Group, L&T, Larsen and Toubro were already in the private sector and doing manufacturing. In all, there were 30 licensed private companies which had commenced commercial production by 2012, which included 23 joint ventures. Point one. Point two, the real issue here is, why is this plant being located in Surat? We are very happy that it is happening here, that we are going to be assembling here. However, we already have developed considerable manufacturing capacity in the private sector, including by Tata in Hyderabad. In addition, things have moved on in Nagpur. Now, where the SME ecosystem has already been emerging, we are an incipient manufacturer in the defense force. I am very welcoming of this initiative overall. However, I'm welcoming. Why? Because there are civilian payoffs of defense manufacturing in India. I have argued this in my own professional writing.
Okay.
You can see this from at least 5 or 6 years ago.
Right.
The fact of the matter is, we need defense production here, no question, both in the public sector and in the private sector. And I'm glad that this is happening in the private sector,
Okay.
so as to give a certain amount of competition to HAL. But this matter goes back to, we have limited human resources, limited capacity. Let's not start patting ourselves on the back, because actually, Mr. Shivshankar, if you will give me just one more minute and I will finish. The fact of the matter is that India was already a vaccine manufacturer of 60% of global vaccines before 2014. Point one. Mobile phones, yes, they are being assembled with all parts practically coming from abroad. You tried to tell us about the massive increases in FDI. FDI is still less than 2% of GDP. It used to be over 2% of GDP until 2014. So let's just remind ourselves that manufacturing as a contribution to GDP in this country has systematically come down after a 25-year average prevailing till 2014. May I finish? I'm finishing. Until 2014, it came down systematically until 2 years ago. It had fallen after maintaining a 17% average in contribution to GDP to 13%. Manufacturing exports fell, manufacturing GDP fell, manufacturing employment fell, and so on. So don't go on about and misleading people. I'm very pleased that this defense production
He's very
capacity
pleased,
is happening.
but he's very pleased, but there are many buts. Yes, quickly.
Let me
Pradeep
go ahead.
Bhandari.
Mahindra's target when the Congress was in power was 10 billion. Now, when this government is in power, in 5 years, the target is 25 billion. Now, let me just quote, Rahul, we all are aware that we did not even have the capability to make bulletproof jackets. What is Mr. Mehrotra talking about? He's looking at it in a pessimist point of view, but let me just quote certain facts. Fact number one, we had just 2 mobile manufacturing units till 2014. This has jumped to 200 right now. Fact number one, the exports have jumped by 7,500% to 1.2 trillion, which is number 3. Number 3, 99% of the mobile used in India are domestically made, even if assembled. Sir, at your time, it was not even there at the time of the Congress party. Number 4, that we are the second largest mobile manufacturer globally, even if you look at the assembly part. Now, you remember HAL, Rahul? The Congress party used to abuse the HAL. The data suggests that in the last 4 years, HAL has recorded more than 7,000 crore profit. We've converted it into a profit-making PSU. Now, let me just quote on the defense part of it. We are exporting to United States of America, we are exporting to France, we are exporting also to Russia, and Russia is paying us in Indian rupee. Our defense export only in the year 2023-2024 was 21,000 crore. The Congress party in 2013-14 had left us with less than 1,000 crore of defense budget, defense export. So why are you comparing apples and oranges? It was not even 1% of the total need. Now let me quote another data point. On the UPI part, Mr. Mehrotra did not mention 50 million transactions are happening every day. We are the largest ecosystem of digital financial transactions. The Congress party had mocked it also. That is also point number 2. And he is talking about vaccines. Please tell me, Rahul, when have we produced vaccines at this large scale, made in India vaccines, as we have done? And this was the same party which was abusing Covaxin. It was at the time of COVID talking about vaccine hesitancy, was backing the likes of Pfizer and not backing the made in India vaccine. So the facts tell you that India has grown in the defense manufacturing part. Even defense production unit, our capacity has grown to more than 1 lakh crore, and our export has jumped by more than 30-35% in the last many years. So I don't know what Mr. Mehrotra is talking about. Even
I really don't know what I'm talking about.
No, well, at least on facts, Mr. Mehrotra.
He didn't interrupt you. It's okay.
Mr. Mehrotra, you can have a different side of the picture. I respect.
Can't I congratulate him?
Sir, take it on your chin. Doesn't matter.
Mr. Mehrotra, and on the FDI part also allow me, Mr. Mehrotra, the FDI in defense sector was enhanced in 2020. The limit was enhanced up to 74% through the automatic route. Later on, it was extended to 100% through the government route. So appreciate the steps which we have taken. You can point certain mistakes, but on the defense manufacturing part, Mr. Mehrotra, there is no comparison.
Okay, let me ask Tehseen Poonawalla, would it be fair, Mr. Poonawalla, to say make in India is fake in India? Do you think Jairam Ramesh has once again been dismissive, condescendingly dismissive, and his generalization lacks substance?
Rahul, at the onset, let me congratulate the Indian government, the Indian Air Force on the Airbus Tata tie-up, and we hope that these transport aircrafts will be manufactured sooner, and in the next 2 years they will be in service. As you know, Rahul, and you cover the defense sector, that
I never did.
More
covered
than
the law,
tactics, it
legal
is logistics that help you win war.
Never covered the defense sector, the
you know,
legal
more than
beat.
tactics. But you're a senior journalist who understands defense. So more than tactics, it is actually logistics that help you and the armed forces. So many congratulations on that. This is also good competition for HAL, which had a monopoly, and HAL's order books remain full. So this works very well for India. So on that front, congratulations. But look, we are confusing the issue. One, Mr. Mehrotra put it correctly, that the target of 25% of the GDP in manufacturing, the target of 2020 has been postponed 3 times. It's now been postponed to 2025, and we've still not, even a decadal manufacturing 14.5% is below the average of 2014, what the Modi government inherited of manufacturing as sector of GDP. Point number 1. Now we keep talking about the vaccines. Had it not been for Other manufactured produced the vaccines in India. The vaccine was actually made by Astra and Oxford, and that was 80 to 85% of the vaccine. The other vaccine made in Bharat Biotech, actually WHO did not approve it. So even what we exported was mostly vaccine, which was made by Astra. I'm not taking away from the efforts of the private sector. Now to the third part, which is the most important part. Yes, on certain ratings and certain parameters, we have gone up.
It is Bharat Biotech which has won the award at the World Vaccine Congress, Tehseen.
Let me tell you.
Come on.
I don't know. One second.
It's not.
No, hang on. This is not.
Extremely unfair. I'm on a show.
This is actually.
My point.
This is
and
actually.
I'm interrupted.
No,
don't have.
Okay, Tehseen, I have run out of time. Actually, this is fake in India. Let's be honest. Because that vaccine has actually won us global accolades. And I was just about to interject when Mr. Bhandari stepped in. Anyhow, viewers, look, the point is, a beginning has been made, a promising beginning. And this will have repercussions, positive ones, down the line. It will just take your mind back to the automobile revolution in India. That's what you're seeing here. Hopefully, viewers, this was just a trailer. I'll leave it at this.